Hi, folks, this is your MWIS fleeting view for the week ahead. Quick look at the freezing levels before digging into detail. Most charts will look something like this, with freezing levels between usually about 900 to 1100 meters. This the product of a fairly persistent southwesterly wind, sometimes lower freezing level in the central highlands. And this means that where rain comes and goes, it will typically fall as at least sleet, or if not snow, on those higher altitudes, but unlikely significant accumulation. And on a fairly humid air mass as well, it's going to be a bit more of a slushy type of snow. So there's not going to be significant accumulations. Another bit of stage setting too on Monday. Notice the heavy and quite persistent rain into Wales and the Lake District. Some rain pushing up into Scotland later on Monday and into the night. This essentially giving the ground a very wet character and possibly flooding lingering in Wales overnight and into the following day. Now, as we get into the day on Tuesday, a southwesterly wind becomes dominant, quite brisk in the morning, and a risk of gales over the high tops of Scotland. But the main story of the day is the risk of hail showers onto western coasts. You can see pretty clearly with this map that the biggest risk is around Lochaber and Skye in western Scotland. Some areas around there should see some hail showers as well, similar to into southern and western slopes of Wales, both in Snowdonia and the Brecon Beacons. Not clearly showing up on this chart, but I do expect that there will be plenty of showers on the western fells of the Lake District as well, maybe some hail, and even there could be a risk of some isolated thunder where this hail does occur. Typically drier inland and east, cloud around, generally on the higher parts of the Pennines, central parts of the Highlands, but some sunny breaks in those northernmost areas, and winds gradually easing, particularly Wales and the Pennines. It's going to be quite a chilly day, most temperatures between about 0 and 4 degrees, and again, where those freezing levels are around the higher terrain, it could be snowy in those western parts of Scotland and perhaps just on the highest tops of the Lake District during the showers on Tuesday. Little change overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. What you will notice, though, are some frontal structures west of the British Isles, and as these sweep in Tuesday night into Wednesday, they could bring some areas of more persistent rain and showers. But continuing on the theme of most showery areas on western coasts, probably a reduced risk of hail and lightning on Wednesday, and particularly as we get into the day. But notice that, especially in western parts of Scotland, southwest southern uplands, Lake District, and western Wales, those showery rains could merge into some pretty substantial areas of rain, notably later in the day in west of Scotland. A few patches will start to drift further east, notably around the Yorkshire Dales, North Pennines, and eastern parts of Scotland. Less sun around as well. I suspect it'll be quite a cloudy day, with cloud increasingly pushing north and east. But north parts of Scotland, east parts of the Pennines, East Wales, probably still a relatively dry day here. Similar temperatures in the low single digits and similar winds. Risk of gales on those high tops of northern Scotland, but elsewhere just a blustery day in exposure. Now, little be said, as it's quite obvious that there is a large feature on its way in from the west Wednesday night into Thursday. So expect Wednesday, if you're out overnight, it's just going to get increasingly breezy with increasing chances of rain, cloud becoming more widespread everywhere. And notice around Wales, the isobars are tightening here, so it could become quite windy ahead of this front. This arriving overnight on Thursday into the morning. So most areas Thursday morning in at least the west will see quite heavy rain. Look at that around southern uplands, Lake District, and southwest Scotland. Pretty heavy, persistent rain here, and this reaching central areas of the Pennines and central Scotland as we get into the day. Now, some uncertainty about how well organized this will stay and how far east it will push, but it looks to me like well into the day there could be patchy rain over the Pennines across much of southern and central Scotland, northern Scotland getting that rain later. Wales, however, will see some breaks in the rain earlier in the day. The winds will also shift to westerly in most areas. Northern Scotland will stay southerly, but they will ease as well. And around southwest Scotland and northwest England, they could actually ease quite low and become variable. Only really Wales is going to see some breaks in the clouds. Some sunny breaks could appear here, but those showers will continue to drift into the west. Not hail showers, not particularly heavy like in days prior, but some showers nonetheless, staying very wet in the north of England and central and southern Scotland. Temperatures will slightly rise for a bit, but again, not reaching much above about those central single figures. We'll save the details for another video in the future, but just a quick look at the chart for Friday at noon shows us that unsettled weather is not leaving us. Low pressure out over the Atlantic is going to continue to push those rainy and windy spells into the British Isles, most of it affecting the north and west. Variable outlook in the near term, so keep an eye on the forecasts for your local detail if you plan to go out on the mountains. That's the story for now, and we'll talk to you again soon.